that Braden Piper put together, and we'll kind of get a feel for what this is all about. We did this year before, too, for those that were here. It will be a similar kind of question and answer thing. And for the freshmen, you haven't seen this yet. We will have a discussion with the 12 students about Midem after the film, and then we're going to have questions for you with the mics at that time. Okay, so if there are announcements, you can use these mics. So come on down and make the announcements on the mics. So start getting a trail down. Anybody? Come on down. Come on down. Here's one right here.
Hello?
Yeah.
Is it on? Okay. I have two announcements. One is actually the promotions plan underway for Vital Sounds Recording Studio, in which if any one of you recommend someone to record with Vital Sounds and they book at least 2 hours of studio time, we'll actually give you 30 minutes free. And if you add that up, you can keep getting more hours and more hours the more you recommend. So start.
Any other announcements? Okay. Why don't we dim the lights and we'll look at a great video. I like it, great. Midem is the largest music conference in the world that takes place every January in France. The daytime is forums and sessions and the floor with all of these industry people in their booths, including Loyola having a booth to have people come by and see what we have to offer.
Hello everyone, this is Mario Palmisano and Dave Shirley reporting from the University of Loyola booth at Midem Conference. Dave, how has the first day of Midem gone for you?
It's been a great day. I've met many business professionals, CEOs that are all down to talk, share their knowledge, and talk about their companies. It's been very interesting meeting all these different people.
Fantastic. You heard it directly from here, Conference. Thanks a lot.
Students meet every person involved in the industry, from management to artists, record labels, distributors, the whole 9 yards of what the industry is. They get to see what the industry is all about outside of the books and put a face to some of these people that have made history in the music, and they're there talking about what they've done, and you get to kind of rub shoulders with them a little bit.
This is awesome. Being surrounded by all these people that know all this stuff about music, it's so inspiring. I'm really interested in Australia, and I got to go and talk to the country's stand, so it was cool.
This is great, you guys being here at Midem. Building networks at this stage of building careers and knowledge is just so perfect. Depends where you want to be within the industry, but find a band, work with a band. Got to work for free a lot of the time. I started working with a band and managing a band that actually ended up getting us in Forbes because of the way that we set up a record label around that band. But I did that for free. You know, I was working as their manager for free, putting my money into it, my time, my effort. At that point, I had very little money to put into it, but you know, you put your heart and soul in, commitment, and sticking with it. You know, it doesn't happen overnight.
Having a good time here at Midem. I love to see all the schools that have come and represent here, like you guys over at Loyola. I'm very impressed that you guys have come out to Midem, and I know the folks from Columbia and Chicago have come out, and you know, I think it's a great way to meet people and learn the business, and my wig is off to you.
We're having a fun time, meeting a lot of great people, making a lot of good connections, and I couldn't be having a better time.
The Hotel du Nord was the place to be. It's only 4 blocks from the Palais. It's the cheapest place. It happens to be above a XXX video store, but you know, that's just all part of it.
We have met with all sorts of different companies, and there are going to be a lot of different international opportunities. I believe the technical term is hella internships and beaucoup jobs.
These students are really well prepared coming out of Loyola to go over there, and they see that they really know what's going on. And some of these guys that have been in the business for 30 years, the students can have a conversation with them.
We're kind of in the same position as a lot of these people that are already working in the industry. And it kind of feels good because it's crazy when they learn that you're a student. I think they're like, what, you're a student? People are a little thrown back.
It's something that is a class in itself. It's probably one of the greatest learning experiences you'll have in such a compact amount of time. And besides the idea of seeing this huge industry at work, where everybody's networking and making deals and what have you, you get to experience what's going on there and see what you might be doing in 5 or 10 years from now in the industry itself. I think the favorite part of the trip for me was the comradeship that the students had. This group seemed to be very cohesive together. We'd eat together, and you know, it was just a lot of fun. We watched the Saints beat Minnesota together, you know, I mean, at 5 in the morning. What else could you ask for?
Who would have ever thought that we would all share this moment together in conference?
Braden Piper put that together and went over with camera and give it up. Yeah. Okay, why don't you guys come on up? Ashley is not going to be here today because she just had a little operation and she's fine. She just emailed me. And the rest of us will come up and Georgia will join us. And I think we have enough chairs for everybody. And we'll let you each just kind of, we'll have the mics go around and you guys share the mics. But anyway, Midem is, I want to let you know right now that we've gone in 2009 and we went in 2010. We went in 2004. We will not be going in 2011 unless Snyder pulls some strings, because I'll be on sabbatical. So we'll be doing it the following year, at least every other year. And this is it's an actual course that you can take as contemporary issues, and all BS students have to take a contemporary issues, and it's a great way to get some extra credits out of it. Anyway, Midem is a conference that's been going on for about 30 some odd years, and it used to be much larger than it is. We all know about the compression of the industry, and when Gary Burton was here last week, the numbers were kind of shocking to me, because I remember when people would come here to forum and talk, or even before the business program was here, and talk about $35 million in the record industry, and now it's down to about 5. So we really have an industry that's turning on its head, and you guys all know that. Midem 10 years ago didn't even talk about the internet, and the internet was scaring these people. I went for the first time in '95 with Reed Wick, and we went over as a record company to try to make deals, and we actually did pretty well when we went there. And there was not a word about the internet. And then we had this thing called MidemNet that started, and it was just a couple of companies that were represented, and it was Real Audio and Liquid Audio. And what were those two people doing? Their companies were the engines for the streaming that was to take place down the road. And then Deutsche Com, AT&T, or Lucent Technology, and several other companies started to come, but it was still the engines of the industry and not the industry itself. And then the next year, I actually went to MidemNet. It was about $800 extra at that time. And the industry was starting to talk, hey, we might be able to do some digitizing here. And then we would get these industries that were just selling basically CDs like Amazon.com online, and you'd get it mailed out. But anyway, the streaming and then the downloads started to happen, and then we all know that the internet was scaring the industry because of the illegal downloads. And it's really evolved since then, and we're starting to see, and we're going to have all of these people talk about this in a second, but I'm just giving an overview of the conference itself. MidemNet is the conference before Midem, and we all went there and sat in on the conference. Pretty high tech, a lot of amazing CEOs of companies coming in, and they're embracing the internet obviously now. They have to. Last year, I remember they were talking about some creative ways to sell yourself on the internet, monetize. They didn't do so much this year, but they had a lot of examples last year of like 9 Inch Nails throwing USB bracelets in the toilets of their gigs and giving away their music, and losing their record contacts or losing their contracts because they wanted to give it away, but then on the backside making tons of money off of it. Okay, anyway, Midem goes on. It's for a week, and we're gone for a week in January. And this year there were about 7,500 people, and there were up to 15,000 at one time when I was there in the 90s. So you can see it's compressed a lot. We had our own booth, and people came by and visited the booth. We even brought king cakes over and Mardi Gras beads, and it's kind of a festive time. So there's this big trade fair going on at the same time. There are these great speakers talking about the industry. So then there is the nightlife, and we'll talk about that too. But the opening night is a big night, and they have a country represented, and it's a huge festive thing with several stages, free food, free water, a few other things that were free, and it goes on and on. Well, I think it was that first night that the Saints were playing, and so I headed over to this Irish pub, and the New York Jets were playing, and all of the New Yorkers, and there are a lot of New Yorkers at Midem. They were there, and it was kind of obnoxious. Sorry, you guys, if you're from New York, but the New York Jets fans were really obnoxious, and the Saints. We were waiting for the game, and then everybody joined. Almost everybody was there, and we ended up getting out of there about 5:45. And I was walking back with Goolsby to his place, and the sunlight was coming up. It was kind of cool. But so we had a lot of nighttime things. But, it's a real fun time. But there is a lot of networking going on. That's where a lot of networking gets done. And then Pat was even dressed up in a 3-piece suit because he had a couple of interviews. Never seen him like that before. You're right here. And landed a job, And so I am not worried about anybody getting a job over there or getting interns, but that stuff happens. If it happens, that's great. But the experience of going to an international music conference is, in a week's time, is a great experience, a great learning experience, and it opens up your mind to what's out there. And if anything, you just have a great time, and then you come back to school and try to catch up. And then the Saints, and then Mardi Gras, and everybody has the flu, and we go on with their lives, and here we are in March, and it's still friggin' cold. What's wrong with this? But anyway, I think I've said enough. I want to take it over to Georgia McBride, who went with us and is part of the intern kind of thing here, and I'm going to just let you speak a little bit about it.
All right. Well,
here, take a mic.
Can't forget the mic. First off, I would just like to say how impressed I was with all of these students. I think they did a great job of balancing the fun with the professional aspect. I was very impressed with how they represented themselves, and they spoke so well. So they're a great example for those of you that want to follow in their footsteps and hopefully go one year. But I think the key to really making the most of this trip was preparation on the front end, and then just being there and being present, because there were so many opportunities both for fun and for making great professional connections. And like Sandy said, you might not walk away with a job or an internship, but just the content and the stuff that you're able to learn there is incredible. And that's what I was really impressed with, were all of the knowledge that I gained about the international market, and just kind of getting outside of the bubble that we have here of the local music scene. And while that's wonderful and we were happy to bring New Orleans music there, it was also really neat to learn about the international music scene and kind of what it takes to succeed in that market as well. And I think that I know my eyes were definitely opened about kind of the differences in what's expected. So I encourage you all to go if we go again in the future.
Why don't we start over there? You have a mic. Introduce yourself, and then most everybody knows everybody here, but there are a lot of people, freshmen especially, that might not know some of these people. And then just give a little impression on what you experienced over there.
Hello, how's it going, guys? My name's Chris Lippincott. I thought the coolest thing about Midem was, well, actually, when we got there, like, I thought everything was going to be over my head, but you actually, you learn some stuff in this program. So when we were over there, we knew a lot. And there was a certain part of it where they were kind of educating the older people on the internet and on, like, Twitter and like that. There was, like, seminars in the day. But then there was, like, a lot of cool stuff that you picked up on, like, learned about this thing called Ping that, like, ties, like, all your social networks together. But, like, then you go out at night and you meet just, like, person after person. Like, we met Pink Floyd's manager. And we met the producer of Nickelback, which was kind of lame, but it was cool to talk to him because he was from Canada, and he kept razzing us about the Saints, but we were like, yeah, you lost, you're from Canada. But it was fun, though. It was a good trip.
I'm Ben Johnson, junior here. I guess the best thing I liked about Loyola was, like, whatever you want to do in the industry, the people that are doing what you want to do are there. So whatever it is you're looking for, the people who can connect you are there, and you can meet anyone. Like he said, we were chilling with Pink Floyd's manager, Muse's manager was there. We had Gary Calamar, big music supervisor, was there. And then I guess, everyone there is trying to help you out too. Everyone's friendly. Everyone realizes that, like, you're trying to, accomplish something in the industry, and they're all there to help you out. So I guess it's a really good learning experience.
2 mics.
Stereo.
My name is Mario Palmisano, senior here. I don't know, I guess I just had to say I learned a lot about the international, like I said, and I don't know, there's like this very thin line between the business professionality of it and then the partying thing. It's like most of the time when I was delegating myself in a professional matter, I had a bourbon and Coke in this hand. But I don't know. I think it worked pretty well. I think I get past that point to where it's like there's this wall that I don't want to express myself, and then I have a couple of drinks, and then I just start talking.
But he still maintained his professional decorum.
Of course, always. All right.
You done?
I'm done.
Hey, everybody. My name is Braden Piper, and I'm the video guy. So, Midem was really cool because it gave me an opportunity to go over to France and shoot some video in France, which is really beneficial for my video reel and such. And I really enjoyed watching everybody else network with many people. I myself did a fair amount of networking, and I kind of was thrown in, and I was going by the seat of my pants with making business cards and stuff at the last minute. But it was a very educational experience, and there were definitely, older guys who I feel like could have gotten schooled by me, and then there was a lot of younger guys, especially the guys with Sunshine HQ. You saw one of them in the video, Rue Piggott. All those guys were, like, geniuses when it comes to just the new model of making money in the music industry and marketing in the music industry. This guy, Mark, just told us this amazing marketing plan that he did for a Sugar Ross album that involved like taking over the front page of YouTube and then capturing emails and sending emails back out, telling people to buy stuff. It was just, it's really interesting when people give you specific examples like that, and it was a ton of fun.
And just real quick, I think you bring up a good point about the business cards, because when I said earlier that they were prepared, they all had business cards, which I think was really helpful. So
as part of the class,
good lesson, yeah.
They were required to have a business card, have a portfolio, and any miscellaneous kinds of things that would help them out. A couple of other universities were there as well, and the focus of the one from Columbia in particular, they had bands and they were trying to promote themselves, and that was cool, but it's something that's real difficult to do over there with 8,000, 10,000 people in a business climate. It's not like South by Southwest. It is a little bit, but South by Southwest is about music, you know, and the performance of it a whole bunch, versus this is a real business intertwining of people and contacts.
All right, my name's Miranda Miller, and I just really liked networking, and everyone was really impressed with our program, of how much we've learned and how we're like up to their level, and they're so far into the industry, and we're just making our way into there. And I was also offered a few internships, so I'm still in works with talking with them, so I'm excited about that also.
Hey guys, I'm Brooke Neal. I'm a senior. I went to Midem looking for a job or an internship. I'm moving to Australia, so I really wanted to meet somebody from over there in New Zealand or something and get connections, and that I did. I didn't necessarily like land a job, but I have lots of connections. In fact, some of them just came to South by Southwest. We've been emailing, and I've even tried to do some consulting for them, like on marketing, viral marketing campaigns. So I thought it was really cool how like accessible everyone was. Back with the whole business card thing, like that's like your name tag. Like you kind of remember everyone there with your business card. You're out, you know, drinking a lot, and you hand out your business card, and you're like, oh yeah, that person like did this or that. It was really cool, and I just loved how diverse the whole thing. Like there's literally people from everywhere. Like South Africa was one of the biggest, or like I guess they're like the sponsoring country or something, and so all the music at night was from their country. They had somebody named Zulu Boy, which is pretty rad. But I just thought it was really cool how, you know, everyone, well, I guess music is the universal language, like bottom line, so I thought that was really awesome.
And I'm Will. The simplest way to put it is if you do go, you come back with a fat stack of business cards, a whole roster of new people you know. You can have a hell of a time. You get a lot of free stuff. You're going to feel like a rock star at these awesome parties with the free food and the free drinks. So just go. I mean, there's nothing else to say.
Start saving your nickels and dimes and euros.
It is expensive. I'm Steve Cunningham, and I'm a super senior. And one of the best things about Midem is, you know, I'm just repeating basically what you guys have said, is meeting all these people in the industry who are willing and able to help you. They've been, they were great and amazing people. Again, I walked away with a stack of business cards like that, and I've started to email most of them, or I already have emailed almost all of them, and started a relationship with them. And that's basically what I learned is you turn these acquaintances into friends, and these friends into contacts, and these contacts into networks, and you build up from the ground up just from meeting these people at these cocktail parties and concerts and events and stuff like that. And I've been able to possibly bring someone down here to Loyola to speak at Forum, and also to come here and work at, do an artist in residency here at Loyola University. And I met amazing people from all over the world, and I've been continuing to talk to the people from Sunshine HQ, especially Rue Piggott, who you saw, and some other people as well who are in music publishing and managing world is kind of what I'm leaning towards. And it was a fantastic experience, to say the least, and I recommend it to everybody, especially if you love music. I got so many free random CDs that are awesome. They're so good, and I talked to this one guy. We saw this band one night called Tidal Wave, and they were so effing awesome. And I was outside smoking a cigarette, and I was talking to this guy who's been at Midem for 35 years or 30 years or so, and he said it was the best performance he's ever seen at Midem. And yeah, that Ireland guy. And you know, to be a part of that, and to meet all these incredibly famous people, like Pat and I were standing outside and just saw Kelly Rowland get out of a Mercedes and walk by us. And oh yeah, if you look at my Facebook, it's me and Coolio chilling, and Jean-Paul Gaultier, the designer. I mean, all levels of people are there. Everyone from all the way down to interns who are there for their company working, all the way to top CEOs and even celebrities like Pharrell Williams and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you go. Amazing contacts, great time, food, awesome, drinks. French wine's the best.
It's really cheap too. I'm David Shirley. I'm a junior. The coolest thing that I thought happened at Midem was, well, before we had a meeting and we all talked about what we wanted to get out of it. And 3 people in particular had like their ideas like straight. Like Pat was like, I'm gonna get a job. Ben was like, I need to meet Gary Calamari. And Brooke was like, or what was it? Calamari, or whatever.
That tastes really good.
And Brooke wanted to meet someone from Australia because she's moving there. And literally, the first day we were there, the first meeting that Pat had, he had a meeting with some badass guy and got a job like that. Within 30 minutes of us being at the booth, Gary Calamari, whatever, he comes up to our booth and Ben sets up a meeting with him and he's been in contact with him. Same thing happened to her the first day. This guy from Australia comes and talks to her. So like all this like awesome stuff was happening right off the bat. So then after that, it was just all about like meeting people and partying, which was really fun. So I don't know, and like the best networking that we got done were at these open bars with all these dudes that just want to, you know, hang out and, you know, talk to you. Like they're willing to talk and they have a lot to say. I don't know. It was an incredible experience. So, go.
I'm Pat Gellish. I'm a super senior also, just like Steve. I would say that if I had some advice to give about Midem, it's push yourself networking, because even if someone doesn't have what you want necessarily to give you, like if they're not in your part of the industry, they can put you in touch with someone who is. Like, just branch out as much as you can. Business cards, emails, everything. Just let everyone know that you're there. You know, you're in France. Like, how many times can you say you've done that, you know? So just put yourself out there as much as you can and get as much good feedback on what you're doing.
Okay, I guess the thing that I really pulled out of it is that you're not only seeing the big industry people, you're also meeting the people that are the future of the music business. And I met some really cool people that way. I was really scared that I wasn't prepared enough to go because I'm a sophomore, but I'm really glad I went because it really expanded my mind about, like, I don't know, where I can go in the music industry. Oh, yeah, George Howard told me about this one student he had that was actually the manager of the Dresden Dolls. So I contacted her and ended up meeting up with her and hanging out with her and Ian Rogers from Top Spin at their villa. I really feel like people are, they really are excited about seeing, you know, students at Midem wanting, you know, to be a part of the music industry. Like, they were really excited about trying to help me find my way. So it's really cool to find, like, mentors there.
Yeah, and just the disclaimer from Mama Georgia. we're not endorsing any sort of underage drinking. But these people were all, it was illegal. Yeah, it was a legal situation. But the point is, even if you're not a big drinker, get out there and be social and meet with people. No, you don't drink that. No, you don't have to. But I just want to put that out there. But definitely, these people took advantage of the social opportunities to, show these professionals who they are as individuals, and that they're, really awesome individuals who are willing to work hard.
Is that called social networking?
Real life social networking. But yeah, so I think the message that I took away from it, and that, hopefully all of these students did as well, is just to, put yourself out there, be prepared. And that a lot of times those professionals that we think are so intimidating actually do want to get to know you as well, and they want to help you. And I think that was kind of the surprising thing that they have all said, is when you would meet that person that you really look up to, and they want to know you just as bad as you want to know them.
Yeah, they were like in awe of us, that we like knew who they were.
Microphone.
I have a really loud voice, but okay. That they knew or we knew who they were, and like that we were willing and like to help them, or like, do anything. I guess you're the best example, I feel like, with Gary Calamar, like Ben. I don't know, I just felt like he wanted to be like, you want his job essentially, right? And like throughout the whole conference, like Gary just was like there. I feel like everywhere we turned around, and like was really like, I don't know, he's like a friend and wanted to help Ben out, however he could. So it was just cool how like in awe of us they were.
Another thing that I took from it was a lot of people looked at us like as the future. They looked to the students as to have the new ideas and whatnot. We met a bunch of people from Russia that were really cool, and they like immediately came over and hung out with us. Like first day, they came and they met up with us, and we chilled with them the whole week. And they told us like the reason why they came up to us was because we were students, and they wanted to meet students and hear our new ideas and like what we had to say and our take on everything. So it was really cool, like really being able to help out the other generation that was there.
You have to remember, the other generation, most of these guys didn't have an opportunity like you guys have here, going to school in a music industry program. Most of these guys, including myself, we just went through it and stumble, trial and error. You lose 1,000 here, you gain 1,000 here, and that's what this industry was about. But now, you guys know that this is changing, and they experienced it. These older guys are older guys, and they learn their trade by listening, and they're listening to you guys. And it's really interesting that these students, there are all these different personalities here, but you can see that everybody was kind of hustling in a real positive sense. And I think there's a synergy here within this program of you got to be able to do that, and these guys did. And I think you're hearing that. I want to mention one more thing before we move. Everybody's talking about networking. Well, how did they network when they paid their fees, which is really expensive? It was $700-800 bucks. The euros was about 500 euros. They get access to the website of everybody, and then there's this big thick book with everybody's name in it that attended, and that is a real great way to make a connection before you go. Yeah.
My name was in it.
Yeah, all of our names were in it. Somebody.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things that kind of leading off of what Hinderly was saying, is that I've been in the program for a while, and being able to hold a conversation about the music industry and about the future of the industry with these people who've been in the business for 20 years or whatever, and being able to hold my own with them on their level, and have them even being like, well, yeah, that's a great idea, I haven't thought of that, or, them giving me advice. It was really cool to be able to hold a conversation with these people and, and understand every aspect of the business that we were talking about at that time. And being able to, hold that conversation, not just be like, oh, wow, what is this guy talking about? He's so cool. But, being able to communicate and be able to wow them, so to speak, with our knowledge from this program, it really gave me a sense of how much that I have really learned and retained here. And, I feel like there's so much information thrown at us, like, every single week, and it's almost hell sometimes. But, man, I can't even tell you how invaluable how valuable this program is. How valuable this program is to us getting our foot in the door. I mean, that's basically what this program does, getting our foot in the door and training our minds to think in the way of the music business, because, the normal business paradigm doesn't really apply to music and the music business. And I've learned so much here at Loyola that really showed up at Midem.
Yeah, I think if any of you had me as your admissions counselor, I probably told you my favorite thing about this music industry program is that it's small enough where you all can really be a resource to each other, and you all can pass down opportunities and contacts. And one of the things that made me most proud about this group was that if somebody met, a professional that they thought was really cool, but it wasn't what they wanted to do, they would say, oh, but my friend so-and-so wants to do that. And they were really good resources for each other, and I think that's something that can definitely carry over into the rest of the program. If you all aren't able to go, because obviously this trip is, it's not something that everybody can do necessarily, but talk to these people, see if perhaps they met somebody that you would like to know, and they can put you in touch. They were great representatives of the program. They made a great impression on those people. So,
also, if anything, like a lot of people have been saying, you might not necessarily meet somebody who can immediately help you out, but a lot of, especially Rue, pushed this a lot. He's like, just make contacts with people and keep in contact with them, and you might not do business with them for 10 years, but he specifically had an example of some guy he had met 10 years ago that he had never done any business with, and that he was now going to be doing something with. So, I mean, you can make contacts with people that aren't necessarily going to help you out right away. And also, the trip is going to give you all kinds of great stories to tell your grandchildren someday. So you should go just to experience, to culture yourself and give yourself a wider worldview of what's going on.
And speak French.
Yeah.
Also, I would say another thing is be persistent. I sent over 100 emails in the first 3 days I was there. And the guy who ended up offering me a job, I sent him over 30 emails in the first 2 days, trying to figure out what coffee shop I was going to meet him at. Try reading French road maps. They're not easy to read. So.
I guess one of the coolest things I took away also from Midem is where the state of the music industry is at right now with everyone, because I would talk to these old British guys or these Irish guys I met that were like, oh yeah, digital's never gonna work. I'm still pressing albums, and that's the way we're gonna go. That's my business plan for right here on out. And then I talked to our guys at Sunshine HQ. You guys keep hearing this name Rue, and my friend Nick. And Nick told me he's a funny British guy. He goes, it goes 99% of this is all bollocks. They all speak bollocks. It's all shit. And it's true. A lot of these guys, they tell you have to take in what you want to really hear and really pick what you hear and are listening to, because a lot of them say stuff that doesn't pertain to you at all, that you just don't believe in. But then that 1% of those people like Nick and Rue, they actually have something really, really smart to tell you, and that's what you really got to listen to.
I have something really quick to say off of what Georgia said earlier, with us being resources for you guys. Just one specific example, there's this dude that I know the electronic scene is getting kind of big in New Orleans. There's one dude from New York who is he owns a record label and a production company or something. I don't really know exactly what he does, but he's all up in the electronic scene in New York, and gave us his card, was I need interns, I need people to maybe work. I told him that I wasn't really into it, but there's people here that are. So if you want to contact this dude, let me know.
I thought the coolest thing about it for me was it put the whole music industry in perspective. When you're here, it seems like a big bad industry, but it's like really small. Like the music industry is not big at all. And you're like sitting there and you see people like signing a deal that's probably a pretty big contract for somebody out there. And it makes you realize that like Midem really ties together what you've learned here and puts it in like a real world context. Because I feel like, the classes are great, but you don't like get out there. Yeah. But
We'll have time for a couple more comments, and then we'll take questions. I'll kind of make the microphone visible for you guys. I'd like to use the mics here traveling, and we'll turn the lights up. Go ahead.
I'd like to add to what Chris was saying was, I think what I was trying to say, let me clarify earlier, I did not just drink while I was over there. But, the fact that I did. But the fact that I was hanging out, as much as I hate the guy, the dude from Nickelback, and he was just telling me how much money he made, and I was like, all right, man, But, which was sweet that he did that, and he did what he likes to do, but I don't know. I just always thought of that guy being like this untouchable guy in this office, and he's just, he's mean, and he's just out there for I never thought I'd be talking to the guy, I guess is what I meant to say. But, I can't tell you how much I learned just seeing all these different people out there. So many different languages, so many different cultures, so many different types of music. It was mind-blowing experience, and I think that every one of you should try and get there one day. I'm done.
Okay. Any other comments? One more.
The band they were talking about, the Tidal Waves, is performing their first show in America in Orlando in December sometime.
We'll get the information to you.
Anyway, what Mario was saying is pretty pertinent to the music industry. There are a lot of egos in it. And you guys, it sounds like you experienced a lot of crazy egos, which it is, but you, I think, held your own. Because these guys can really be intimidating, but they're full of hot air. And you can really find out quickly by going to something like Midem, you start to discriminate who's real and who isn't. And I think that's a point that several of you experienced. Okay, at this time, I would like to open this up for any questions that anybody might have. And why don't you come on down to the mics, and I'll put them up here. You want to turn the lights on? Anybody with questions? Anybody at all? Come on, we got to have some questions. You want to know how much it costs? Yeah, go ahead and hit the mics. And go ahead.
No, I just want to know how much it costs.
You want to know how much it costs? It's getting more expensive. In 2003, an airfare to Cannes was about $400. To Nice was about $400, and it's almost $900 now. And I'm going to Europe several times this year, and I can't get any tickets for under $1,200 now. And then Midem is pretty costly. It costs about $700 to $800, depending on what the dollar is doing. The dollar was at an all-time low when we went over and bought all of our stuff. It's starting to creep up again. It's about 135. It was 1.5 when we were there. And then the hotels, we got the cheapest possible, as you saw on the screen. But it was about 400 plus. And then we spent a night in Nice, which is really nice because you get to go on the beach in Nice. It's nice in Nice. Yeah, these guys are spoiled because of the Hotel du Nord. Okay, any other questions that we might have? Yes.
All right. I just recently got back from a networking event, and I have to contact people back and follow up. What exactly were y'all including in your follow-up emails? Were you just like, hey, I'm dropping a line, contact me back, or did y'all have a format for it?
I think all of us can talk about this. Does anybody have anything really cool they want to say? With me, I've got a pretty cool thing. Okay, so I met this dude, Ashton Booty. He's a cornerback or a safety from the Buffalo Bills. He went to Ohio State. He was just like a badass football player, and he was there because like yeah, we were at the bar with him. But he was there because he like started up a record label, and when we met him, he was like, man, like finally I met some musicians. Like I've been like dying to meet some musicians to listen to my music. So he like ran to his hotel and was back. He's from like Liberia. He came back in like 10 minutes from like a mile away. Like it was just like in and out. He came back with this like blank CD that he just burned for me. Was like, please listen to it. So I listened to it and like told him everything I liked and didn't like about it. And I mean, he sent me back an email like, yeah, thanks a lot. Like it wasn't very long, but it was still cool. Like I'm emailing like an NFL player. Like, you know, it was just really cool. So that was just one thing like that.
Basically, what I did, I got like a stack of cards like this thick. I only emailed back probably like, I don't know, that many. And the ones I emailed, I specifically thanked them and, you know, reminded them, you know, where we had met, what we had talked about, and thanked them for their time and their insight into whatever our conversation was. You know, every once in a while I would take a note on the back of a business card because, you know, you're drinking and having fun, and, you know, you meet hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people at these cocktail parties. And basically, you know, shooting them emails back and forth, basically thanking them for their time and their information and stuff like that, and starting a relationship. After I thanked them and stuff, and after that initial email back to them, then I started to ask them questions and ask them, you know, what specifically are you doing? What are you working on right now? Or how are you going about doing this? And, you know, they've been really helpful about stuff like that. And just basically email them. Being personal with them is the best way, not treating them like as a crazy, you know, up there business contact. You know, these people not only can be like someone can help your business, but someone can be your friend. And a lot of these people became our friends throughout the week. Like the Sunshine HQ people, we became friends with all 5 or 6 of them. We even went out to, like, all of us and the Sunshine HQ people, excuse me, went out to dinner, like one of our last evenings there, and had a great time because they became our friends while we were there too.
Through Facebook, Twitter, and stuff like that. And I just think all of us will probably be really good friends with them for years to come. Also, I was going to say, since I want to get a job, I'm not moving to Australia until September. The people I met, you know, like while I was there, I definitely, every business card I got down, I'd write like who the person was, like in context to what I was talking to them about or whatever. Like right then and there, like 5 minutes, you know, after we finished talking. And then while I was at the conference, I would shoot emails like, hey, thanks. And then if they responded to me, like within the conference, then I could set up meetings or whatever. I'm guessing you went to South by Southwest. You know, like they're traveling, a lot of the people. So if you send them an email and they don't respond right away, like give them a week or so. If it's somebody you're like really interested, shoot them another email. But like I found the emails I sent like a week after, like since it was an international thing, like I'm still getting emails from people. A guy in Canada wanted me to do some like stuff for his website, and like he's been emailing me like this past week. Actually, I got an email from him. So I don't know, just keep in touch definitely. And like with the personal thing, like you'll talk to these people and like they'll tell you about their family or something. So like tie in that, like make it as personal like as you want to, but also professional. So like, you know, you have that like, I don't know, shtick with them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just real quick, I think these guys make a really excellent point about taking notes on the business card. And also see if you can offer something in return. So it's just not you asking all the time. Even if all you can offer is just, I'd love to help you in any way I can. You know, that's an offer in and of itself. Or offer to show them around New Orleans if they ever come. You know, just something.
One more comment.
And I would say one of the biggest things, like getting back to people, is they're busy people. So get straight to the point. You know, like in most of my emails, I would say, you know, it was great meeting you, and then 2 sentences later, I'd be like, I'm looking for an internship. And almost with every one of them, they wrote me back and be like, yeah, just get in contact with me, send me this, and we'll be good to go. So just got to get to the point.
And do it right away. But it's an ongoing thing. We get bogged down. Every time I come back, I get bogged down with all of the teaching responsibilities and gigging and what have you, and then it gets further back in your mind. You want to do it right now, and like she said, you want to take good notes to do that. Okay, that's all we have. I will be here afterwards, and you can come down and meet with anybody. Thank you very much, folks. Have a good Easter. Why don't you guys give these guys a great hand for contributing? Thank you.